From 20 The Countdown magazine, welcome to The Magazine. My name is Lillian Njuguna, and today we are coming to you live from the #1 Christian hotel, or a merger of hotels right here on Bishop's Road, next to the NSSF building. And with me today I have Lillian Njuguna, who is my guest today. She's not my sister, just to disclose things, and we're going to have a conversation. We're still continuing with Christians in the marketplace. Last week we had the principal secretary for labor, and he gave us very insightful decisions and how he has worked with the Lord in his workplace, from a DO now to a principal secretary. Quite an encouraging conversation. And today I have Lilian, who is basically about corporates. How are you, Lilian?
I'm very good, thank you. Yes, very good.
Welcome to the magazine.
Asante.
Let us first know who Lilian is.
Who I am a Christian. We start from there.
Yes.
I love God as my personal savior. I like Jesus as my personal savior. I'm a golfer. I love that part about me because it's very exciting. I'm also a mother to a 9-year-old boy.
Okay.
Machachari sana, active boy. And above and beyond that, I'm also a Kenyan, because I realize as I grow older, I'm becoming very patriotic amongst many other things. And also I work within the corporate space in technology. Yes,
tech.
Yes.
Okay. How are you? Are you the firstborn, the lastborn?
So I'm a firstborn. Maternally. Paternally, do you know? Anyway, maternally, I'm a firstborn. My brother's since deceased, 12 years in. Was younger by 5 years. But I do have an adopted brother who's 21. Yes.
How is it, growing up? And life in general as a family?
It was good. I mean, those days we grew up together, like so many. So I grew up in the Kasarani area, I would say, constituency. It was nice. I mean, being a firstborn, being a girl, taught me to be very outgoing. I had a younger brother who was very playful, so showed me a lot of play outside. I grew up in a community of a very close family, small families, 2-3 kids, a lot of age mates at the time, playing outside. Also interacted a lot with my cousins. So I would travel a lot during the holidays, to Shags, to my mom's sister in Nakuru. So I spent a lot of time, I would say, in between. And also, I think the other side of Kajiado County, I have some Maasai relatives. So I spent a lot of time all over the place, touring, experiencing, just being brought up by community. Yeah.
Good. Let's talk about your brother.
Yes.
The one who passed on.
Yes.
How was it when suddenly you just said that he used to be one person who used to teach you things outside there, in terms of play? How was it now losing him?
Actually, I don't think there's been anything tougher than that. Maybe COVID, for various reasons, I think mentally, but it was tough. I mean, he was the most disciplined child. He seemed more loved. I mean, when growing up as a girl and then you have a brother, always a boy child, na rights.
I hear they belong to them.
Yeah, they belong. So when you think about it from that perspective, you feel like maybe it should have been me. So that was the first thing I had to deal with. He was also very kind. I mean, I was not I think earlier, before his passing, I was not a kind child. He was very kind, he was very giving, he was very skilled. Also very accommodating. Like if you visited as a guest, he was most likely to ask you, oh, can I share my meal? Can I share my room? Like me, I'm just like, first of all, why are you visiting us? So I think his passing was sad. I mean, right now I can talk about it laughing because it's been 12, actually it will be 12 years or 13 years in June. And I think I've grown, now I can talk about it with joy because there's more memories. I think you build the happy memories over time and the pain doesn't go away, but I think the happy memories seem to supersede all other thoughts. So that was painful, but also I think life-changing for me because I borrowed a lot of the attributes that I admired in him after. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good thing. Tech.
Yeah.
Not very many ladies here are in tech. But probably nowadays they are.
Yeah.
How did you get into that space?
First, there's always this joke when you do anything small, even like record something, you say you put the hashtag women in tech. So
probably
like,
should put women in tech.
Exactly. But how did I get into tech? I think it was almost by accident because I don't have a tech background. I did microfinance, a bit of economics in school. I had an insurance background. So coming in and business background. So I started in tech from that perspective, from a business angle, and it was almost like an internship first job kind of thing where I worked for Lilian. And I worked as a...
Lilian.
Yeah, there were many things you were doing at the time. You know, when you're starting your first job, you don't even know what exactly you do. Are you an intern? And you know, interns, you do everything from writing memos to calling customers to being customer care. So actually my first job was, I'd say, customer care. But then in 7 months grew into another role where I had to support customers for a lady who was going on maternity. And I grew into an account manager role, but then also the organization kept going through various changes that required us to take up more skill sets. So from building business cases to selling to customer support to just the whole spectrum. And that's, I would say, was my beginning into tech through fintech. And it's been honestly a well orchestrated plan, I'd say, by God, because when now in hindsight I can see it looks orchestrated, but at the time it's nothing planned. You know, people ask you, oh, how did you transition from this organization to this? And you have no clue how you did it. I think showing up every day, being interested, taking up the job that's at hand at the day, and being very mindful and caring about customers. So yeah, that's how I landed in tech. And now I'm in, I would say, what is pure tech, because I work for Microsoft, so I'm in a platform business. So AI, the whole works around AI and technology.
That's very interesting. That we get into spaces that we never know where they are going.
Yes.
You're probably told just hold on to this.
Yes.
While you look for something and then it turns out to be something else.
That's true.
So how long were you at Lilian?
I was at Lilian for 5 years. And then I got headhunted into a pure tech a tech consulting company, an American company called ThoughtWorks. Went there as the head of business development for East Africa. And we were helping businesses that were looking to transform into Agile, which is a tech practice. I think right now a lot of people are adopting it, but Agile has been there for a very long time.
Yes, I've had it for a while.
Yeah, so transitioned to ThoughtWorks, did a lot of travel while on that role. Being an American company, our customers were all over in South Africa, across in London, everywhere globally. And it was a business of pure tech consultants. And so you can imagine moving from Lilian, which is small fintech, Kenya-based. Okay, of course, there was a little bit of East Africa, and then eventually scaled into Pan-African. We had the vision then, but I was fully focused on Kenya and East Africa. Then transitioning into ThoughtWorks, which was more global, so a lot of exposure. After that, I moved into a business. After ThoughtWorks, where did I go to? I think I went to Chase Bank. But also at the same time, my son was about to get born, so I needed a bit of, almost I would say, stability. Like, you know, ThoughtWorks involved a lot of travel. So Chase Bank, I was at Chase Bank for another 2 years. So I was at ThoughtWorks 2 years, moved to Chase Bank for another 2 years. But at Chase Bank, I transitioned back to fintech because I was in the team that was handling online corporate banking and Fukoni and all those digital solutions for customers. But also while at Chase Bank, I developed a love for a niche of customers, the SMEs. It was a pure SME bank, and then I was building products, payment products for SMEs. So I formed a love for SMEs. After Chase Bank, I transitioned to another fintech called InterSwitch. It's a switching business.
Yes.
So began to understand the intricacies of how wallets work.
Okay.
I wasn't there for long, I think 6 months before Safaricom came knocking, and you say opportunities. Opportunities are very aggressive. That's why they are opportunities, because I was only there 6 months. I was not looking to move, but the opportunity being accorded was quite, I would say, life-changing. It's actually really changed my career. So I went into Lilian and Mpesa, the product, and I was leading it for 5 years. So then transitioned into Microsoft, and now it's been 3 years in. Yeah.
It's interesting. I've known Lilian for a while. I used to work with a company that used to support them in terms of HR.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
I must know them. I mean, it was a small family.
Yes,
a
very
small family. Yeah.
And then you mentioned, what is it called? It's now called SBM.
SBM Bank, yes.
Yeah. That has been my bank.
Yeah.
And I went there solely because of the app.
Oh, yeah, Mfukoni.
Yes, Mfukoni was my thing.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to joke with my branch that since this app came, I have no reason to come to you.
Yeah.
Except when I need to deposit.
Isn't that amazing? Because that was the whole point of the solution. Like, it's Mfukoni with you. You can bank wherever you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was very convenient. I still use it till up to now.
Yeah.
I use it to even pay for, Bloom to keep it on air. And it's interesting.
That's fantastic.
We share that kind of connection.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take a break, come back, talk about Microsoft.
Yeah.
And what you're doing there, and the many things that you're up to.
Okay.
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll get to continue with this conversation with Lilian. Keep it on radio. Welcome back to the magazine. My name is Lillian Njuguna, and I'm with good. I told you you're not related, but we bumped into one another, and we said we must do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's pick it up. So you moved to Microsoft.
Yes.
How has that been?
It's been a lot of learning. Yeah, because of the new tech.
Okay.
So every day there's something new to learn. Yeah.
It's like it's the same way you learned about this place today.
Exactly, which is more exciting actually. I can be in this city and not know of this place. Yeah.
There are very many beautiful places.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. But it's hidden.
It's quite a gem. Yeah, with a lot of trees
it's
and.
Been here for a while.
Yeah.
A while, close to 100 years maybe.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I clearly haven't been living in Nairobi.
Yeah, you probably have not been living in Nairobi.
Yeah.
So, as a woman in tech, how has that space been for?
To be honest, I'd say I have the advantage of, the gender disparity and the roles. Right now, I've worked in organizations that acknowledge and appreciate the contribution of women. Not just as employees, but also as customers. So if you think about all the businesses I've worked for, from the local businesses, from Chase Bank to Safaricom, Mpesa, to InterSwitch, to Cellulant, there's a huge appreciation of women and their role in the economic contribution. Beyond that, when you come into the workplace, that is already even enhanced, because I remember at Cellulant we had a lot of female developers. We sold a lot of our content. I think at the time there was also content being sold. There were artists, there were women who were consuming the Skiza tunes. So I've never felt, I see sometimes in the spaces I live in, but in the places I've worked and the customers I interact with, I haven't felt it. But also I come from a family that empowers and appreciates the contribution of the woman. So that has helped. Yeah.
That means Njugunas are good people.
Yeah, very good people. Yeah.
And back to Safaricom, because Safaricom is a very big company.
Yeah.
I think I saw they were voted as the best employer in Africa or something. If
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
How was it for you there, especially leading M-Pesa?
It was
it Lipa na M-Pesa or M-Pesa?
It was Lipa na M-Pesa, which was a product of M-Pesa,
Okay.
so more focus on M-Pesa for businesses.
Okay.
It was nice, it was fun. There was a lot of interaction with customers, which I think made it fun for me. I didn't realize that I enjoyed interacting with businesses and customers. I formed a lot of relationships that today I would say a big part of my network and friendships actually was solidified in the 5 years I was there. It was a very good employer, one, because they gave me an opportunity to lead a team. I was very young. So lead a team for 5 years, evolve a product from what you knew as, Lipa na M-Pesa in the past was built for, I would say, established businesses. Those days, 8 years ago, you can imagine a business that was registered, transacting, it had an office, to evolving it to anybody, doing their mom and pop shop, doing a digital business. Now there's so much acceptance of Lipa na M-Pesa and Pochi as a result of the evolution that the team and I did while I was there. So I had a lot of fun. It felt almost like high school reunion, because it was also an employer with a lot of people. So there was always someone you needed to talk to align with, to seek support from. So there was that camaraderie, but also a lot of market visits. So being out there kwa ground. Tulichomwa na jua kweli kweli. There's nowhere in this country I didn't go, I think, other than this garden. And also traveled out and about outside of Africa, because being a subsidiary of Vodacom, Vodafone, I was able to see other markets through the lens of Safaricom. Yeah.
Gosh, there's a question that come up on my mind, but it seems to be running away. That and Christianity, how have you been able to merge those two and be able to lead? Maybe give you a hint, graciously, or lead a team, or even be part of that sphere and lead very responsibly.
When I think about leadership and my journey, it has evolved. Being in a global business, even if you have leadership responsibilities, I think the corporate environment is really changing. So from what was known as leadership, leading big teams, to leading projects, like now I'm responsible for a program, what I would call a program. A program is different projects coming together that have the same strategic intent. And those are different people who can be working independently, don't report to you, but you have to lead them. So I feel like leadership evolves, but what I think, when I think about it, it starts from self. So it's leadership of self that I've been able to craft and I think appreciate as the basis of what a good leader is. So basic things from understanding how to take care of yourself, manage your time, manage your responsibilities and your commitments. And that is actually what you really need as a Christian, because self-leadership is also anchoring yourself on the right values that, I'll have integrity, I will be respectful of people, I'll be mindful of people's opinions, which is sometimes very hard. I think that's the basis of what.
And how are you finding it, being a leader in those different spaces you've been? How has it been for you?
It has its days where it's challenging. I feel like every day is different. So every day brings new challenges. So there's either a new stakeholder you have to deal with, there's a new complexity from a market, a new president has come and there are tariffs and you have to deal with the complexities of what those decisions give to the market, to dealing with cultural diversity, I would say. So for me, I don't see leadership being challenging. It's actually very inviting for me. I enjoy servant leadership, which is what I'm growing into. I don't think I'm there yet, but understanding how to lead like Christ, where you become more selfless, in the sense where you value you begin to really not downplay what your desires are, but begin to appreciate what other people bring to the table a lot more every other day. But I think it's something that comes with maturity as you go along, and also being passionate about it. And I would say having the desire to please God is what drives me to want to be a servant leader.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That is very interesting.
yeah.
Back to your current employer,
Yeah,
and the space that you look like you have some freedom, not really freedom, but you have some freedom.
yeah.
How are you able to? Are you mentoring other young people into this space to get into leadership, or probably see them through? It may not be exactly what you're doing right now, but something else.
Yeah, I'm actually involved in a local church in Shags.
Okay.
I come from Maragua.
Okay.
So I'm involved in the ministry, in the missions.
Okay.
And what I've come to appreciate is sometimes you might not be at the forefront, but you could be an enabler of various programs. How are you able to lead this? How did you get here? So I'm very willing to share information about my background, about how I view things, and also encourage them, because a big part of it is understanding that yes, I could have gone through that path, but my journey is different. So yeah, so I'm not actively mentoring.
Okay.
I think because also in the last 3-4 years, I think work has really taken up a big part of my life, and parenting. So that balance. But now I'm a bit more intentional about doing it and being in places that allow me to do that. Maybe this is the start of it.
Okay, let's talk about parenting.
Yeah.
How is the young man seeing you? Because you seem to be very busy.
Yeah.
How are you able to balance work and him? I don't want to call it life, but just him.
Is there a balance? There's a balance. I think it's every day. There are days that work takes up a lot, especially if you're traveling. I mean, there's no way you'll say you'll be home at your parenting.
Yeah.
But it's anchoring the right support structures to help you when you feel like you might need support. So having a, I think I would say, an ecosystem that supports your parenting, so that when you show up, you're showing up for quality, and you know, you're not running home to just do stuff and be seen but not really present. So I like to engage a lot in conversations with him. We make sure we do devotions every day, talk about his day, do a lot of storytelling. He now is into Jenga, so I take time, we build, and we learn to build as we talk about our day, and we talk about, but I don't hide work. I pick work calls when he's there. He can see I'm working, so I'm just very present. And also I have the advantage that I can work from home sometimes. So on days when I realize I have long days, I will work from home so that he sees me. Because also I believe being present is one of the attributes of being a parent.
Yes,
yeah.
You have to be there all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good. Let's take another short break. When we come back, we have a look at basically land display. Yeah. Let her talk about anything that he has missed to talk about, and get into just advise young people who are able to take along this journey. And as I told you earlier, we are looking at Christians and the marketplace. And if you'd like to engage with us on our social media handles. That is Bloom Radio on Facebook, Instagram and X, or even Twitter. You can find us, not Twitter, but TikTok. You can find us, and let's engage more on this platform. Keep it Bloom Radio. Let's land this plane.
Yes.
Your high moments in Christian, or rather, women in the tech space.
Yeah.
And the low moments, probably should start with the high.
Yeah.
And then we get into now landing this plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The high has been my contribution to this economy in what I've done, like building products, leading teams. That's usually very exciting. When I go somewhere and I experience a product, from as easy as when you go somewhere and you pay for parking with M-Pesa.
Yes.
That was one of our products. To when I go to a supermarket and they prompt me, to the most complex. products where a whole distribution can be happening digitally with Lipa na M-Pesa to you using Mfukoni.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's usually a highlight. When I go somewhere and I can't tell people that, hey, by the way, I know every detail about that product, but I let them tell me. I remember my mom once educating me about a product she had heard on radio, and she was and I didn't want to tell her that I was part of the product, so I just listened. Yeah. To all the products M-Pesa has contributed to fintech. I mean, people buying Skiza tunes, to artists being able to make money out of music. All those little contributions for me give me so much joy. So that's usually a high. Yeah, yeah.
Are you the one, or were you part of the online cards? What are they?
The M-Pesa Global.
Yes.
Yes. I was at M-Pesa at the time when we created that product. So it's always teamwork to Fuliza, to all the products that we experience. I think that those 5 years, there's a lot of work that went into product development. Yes.
Good.
To the apps. Yeah.
Yes. Why did you have so many apps then?
I think there's a belief that the M-Pesa user were trying to see if M-Pesa would exist independently as a payment platform outside of the telecom business. Yeah, and we were able to prove that actually the wallet is already a need outside of telco. So you can have a customer, especially assuming you're coming from abroad and you have another line, can you be able to use the financial services without necessarily having to be an M-Pesa customer? So starting to build the journey towards what you call interoperability. Ability to use the service irrespective of the platform you're seated on. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
To Microsoft, anything good?
AI is good. ChatGPT is built on Microsoft's platform. So there's a lot of incoming and good things around AI, with of course being careful that it has to be used for good and educating people how to use it for good. Not just saying please kwa ChatGPT, but being aware that there are people who could use it to destroy. So yeah, there's a lot of education that's happening. There's a lot of upskilling that needs to be happening within the country, and I think we're doing that to the government. To a lot of build right now, I think we're at the first phases of adoption. So use of AI across most of our products. Yeah.
Now that we're on AI, we have seen a lot of bad things in terms of government leaders being framed to be in very interesting places. How are you able to now educate these young people on how to be positive and stay positive and use these things for a good thing?
I mean, there's always people who, I mean, when you think about the internet, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
Exactly. But do people use the internet to do bad things? A lot of people use it for. So there's the education one, teaching people. I think with every new technology, just like electricity and internet, the good will always outweigh the bad. But you have to take the journey in making sure that people are educated how they can make good of that new technology or whatever you're introducing. But I find that until then, we'll still experience these moments where people use it to destroy others, to unethically, I would say. So we support people to understand the shaping of policies. I think Kenya has just adopted a cloud policy. They're about to, they just also launched an AI strategy. And all those things bring governance to the use of AI. So in the past, I think it wasn't there, but now with governance, it means that you can actually be taken to court for use of AI in the wrong manner, or at least get punished for using it in the wrong manner. But also I believe as technology providers, we also have the responsibility to safeguard people from using it in the wrong way. And I think that's how where we put our focus on.
And our consumption, how has it been Africa in general?
We're a mobile first continent. We're also a young population. So I would say adoption has been very high, especially amongst the young people. The oldies use maybe the biggest tool, I would say, like ChatGPT. They use it as a search. The young people see it as a companion. They use it for decision making. They use it to build businesses. So it's really gonna change in the next few years. I would say, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Good. To land this plane.
Yeah.
Any advice you can give these young people?
Besides staying woke, they're already woke. I would say when you look at most successful people or people you admire, let me not say successful because I don't think there's anyone who really can say I'm very successful. There's always something you need to grow. But when you look at people you admire, there's a consistency around being anchored in the right values. If you look at even from the world's, any athlete you admire, if you look at Ronaldo, for example, to any business person you would admire, they're anchored on certain things that are values. And sometimes we really try and say, oh, are they a Christian, are they not? But the basis of Christianity is actually it's a value-based system. So I would say anchor yourself on the right values, and for sure you're likely to succeed in anything you endeavor to. So the right values meaning that you understand yourself, you understand what it is that's important for you, and you understand that you have a higher calling outside of just serving self. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today as we have had this edition with Lillian, and I hope to have very many more. At least we have 2 more weeks to go. We have Christians in the marketplace, and we're coming to you live from SK Guest House, the best Christian hospitality place that you can come and have, accommodation. You can have food here. You can have spaces to just sit and enjoy, like where we are today. And see you next week, same time, same place. God bless you. Bye-bye.